say one thing. I'm here with these doctors, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So don't even bother asking me all of these other questions that you all are curious about, okay? Don't even bother.
But are you concerned about the fact that these women do want to,
what did I say?
Wants to come forward? Are you concerned about...
Excuse me. Excuse me. No, don't some people understand.
As GOP presidential hopeful Herman Cain, you can hear his frustration. Reporters are asking him about the sexual harassment accusations against him that are from about 12 years ago. Herman Cain has said that they're false. He's pretty vocal about it. But you know that what someone says and sometimes what their bodies say can conflict. It can be different. Here to decipher Herman Cain's body language, he's CEO, former CEO of Godfather's Pizza. We're bringing in Chris Ulrich, who's a senior instructor at the Body Language Institute. He's in Washington, and you know, this is what you do, right? You try to figure out if what their body is saying matches what's coming out of their mouth. What do you make of what happened right there with the confrontation with reporters?
Well, that's very interesting, Virginia, because when we look at Herman Cain, his baseline is usually, that's his normal behavior. It's pretty calm and collected. He's very kind of put together. But in that scenario we just saw, when we're watching him in that scenario, he's got his palms up here. He's saying, hey, don't even bother asking me about those other questions. This is a palm-up gesture. This is a push down, a push away. And this is very kind of anti to what we've seen early from Mr. Cain.
Okay, and again, we're not trying to judge necessarily whether he's about the allegations and guilt or innocence. We're just sort of looking at the mood, what's happening in the moment. I want to watch this with you and let our viewers watch this next clip. It's a stakeout by Politico, and they confront Herman Cain. Take a look.
Great, okay.
This is last one, guys.
Last question, last question.
I'm trying to...
That was last question. Thanks. Thanks. Last question.
Have you ever been accused of such a...
Chris, very different demeanor there than what we saw a moment ago. What do you make of that?
We see a lot there, Virginia. First of all, we see something called micro-expressions. These are expressions that happen within 1/15th of a second. And they're expressions that we don't really control with our face. What we see from Herman Cain in that situation is flashes of anger. He's kind of obviously put out. He's not ready for this question. And what happens in the follow-up, versus answering the yes-no question, he fires back with a follow-up question. Now, does that tell us, oh, he's guilty? No, what it tells us is there's more to the story here. Powerful questions we need to ask to see what's going on for Herman Cain. The other thing that we notice here is that rather than face his interviewer, he kind of continues to give him kind of basically the cold shoulder, by keeping his shoulder in the reporter's face.
Interesting. Chris Ulrich, body language expert. We really appreciate you looking sort of deeper and trying to figure out, like you said, maybe there's more to it. There's more that he knows. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me. Take good care.
You too.